Paradigm is in control of you. Don't think it's not. It is. It is in control of you. It's a demon inside of you. And it talks to you. And it tells you, don't do that. You crazy. Go ahead, do it. Don't do it. It's in control. And you know something? 97% of the time, the damn thing wins. It does. And I don't care how sophisticated you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how religious you are. I don't care about any of those things. Your paradigm is in control. It's been programmed right into the cells in your being. Stop and think of how you got here. Little particle of energy from mom, little particle of energy from dad comes swimming along. They were in resonance, and that is the nucleus of you. And then for 280 days, an attractive force went to work. And all of mom's DNA and all dad's DNA, where'd their DNA come from? Well, their mother and their dad. Where did they go from their mothers and their dads? God knows how far back this goes. You're the product of other people. You're the confluence of thinking that goes back for God knows how far. That's who you are. That's why you look like you do. That's why you've got the hair you've got. That's why you're the height you are, the weight you are. That's why your foot is wide or narrow. This is all programmed into us. Then 280 days later, we make our debut on the planet. And we become programmed by the people we're surrounded by. This is real, and you're not going to get it in school because the teachers don't know it. And look, this is really a black or white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately results remain the same from one year to the next. That's why people go right through their life living much the same as their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Nothing changes. Just as prejudiced, bigoted, and ignorant from one generation to the next. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to improve your results. Both companies and individuals operate with paradigms. Countries operate with paradigms. Families have paradigms. To be able to shape your future, though, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. You got to be willing and you got to be able.
Hello folks, good afternoon, and we'd love to welcome Nikki along. Hello. Welcome to today's session.
Thank you, super excited.
You're welcome. Nice to see you. So I hope you all enjoyed that starting video, because that is what we're going to be discussing today. And we just love listening to Bob all the time, and there's certain things in there, certain words in there that we were talking about last night. You know, we're setting these goals, we're wanting to go after something we really want. But did you hear Bob at the start of that video? He says your paradigm inside of you is like a demon. It's trying to convince you out of what you truly, truly want. And he also said that 97% of the time it wins by stopping you from going after what you really want. And that's what we're talking about tonight. The paradigm is completely in control of you. It's the conditioning, it's the environments, it's the product of the people who've been around you. It's this walking, talking program that we take with us all the time. Now, not all of it is negative, because we've got some really, really positive parts of our paradigm, but we're going to talk to you tonight exactly why that's involved. So I'm so excited to share a lot of this. And I'm excited to share it again with Nikki as well, because Nikki wasn't here last night. So, Nikki, last night we were talking about goals. Last night the engagement level was unbelievable. So please give us a little wave inside the chat. Let Nikki know who you are, where you're from, because we have many different locations across Ireland and the UK. And tonight we also promised that there was little doubts creeping in about what we can really go after last night. There was lots of questions last night. People actually asking, what is this? what we've been veered into. There was a little bit of suspicion last night about why we're doing this. So what to just have a wee chat about that. But we're here this week to give you everything that we know as much as possible to give you the best opportunity to take your life forward. And this is why we're doing these live events. And we do it every single month that we're here, because there's something within the stats. We like sharing stats. And from last night, we had a wonderful Zoom call as well with two ladies who didn't manage to come along to the afternoon call. But we talked about what they want to do. One is creating an event, and one is looking to really overcome some real challenges to really get our life back on track. But the truth of the matter is that only 3% of people actually achieve their goals. So the question today is, are you in that 3% club? Because me and Nikki we've achieved a lot of goals over the past number of years. And this is why we want to share this information with you. Okay. So thank you, Shan. Shan's saying, yesterday I struggled to get my C goal. Feel more comfortable with B, so still reworking it. Wasn't able to attend that last night, but we'll keep refining. That's okay. This is a process we go through. Many people have goals and they start to judge themselves. Oh my God, am I getting this wrong? Is it B type? Is it C type? All we need to keep tapping into is the questions. Now, in the workbook last night, did you go through the 7 levels of why exercise? Because the 7 levels of why exercise will get you to really go as deep as possible. Why do you want to achieve a certain goal? And if you're not getting emotional within the goal, then it's not going to go do what goals are intended for you to do. So there's the workbook that Nikki spent a lot of time putting together is also a framework. Good, it all makes sense. So we'll keep on refining this as we go through. So keep asking questions, and there's an opportunity to communicate with us as well. Use the Facebook group. Also, if you've got your B-type goal, doesn't matter if it's there, stick it into the Facebook group anyway. And then we can look at it, we can analyse it, and we can give you some feedback on that. And if it doesn't feel ambitious, that's okay. And we can talk about why that potentially is as we go through today. So even if you don't have a C-type goal, you've got a goal. So that's the starting point here. We talked about that last night. There's a little bit of a desire to go after something, and that's okay. But now that you've got a goal, that alone separates you from the majority of people on this planet, which means you're moving towards being part of that 3% club. Who here wants to be part of that 3% club? Put a yes in the comments if you want to be part of the 3% club, because you've started on that process. And we talked about it last night. It comes from decision, the power of making committed decision to go after something. Because people who decide get results. And it's simple as that. But the thing is, it might sound simple, but it's not easy. And most people dismiss the simplicity because what we do is we start to overcomplicate success. And all we need to do is to decide to go after something that you want. And whether it's ambitious or not, or you compare it to other people or not, it's your goal. You need to have ownership over that. And this is why we spent so much time last night, particularly on the Zoom call, really refining what that end picture is going to look like. So one of the ladies last night was talking about, I really want to get this event filled, but I am scared in case I don't get enough tickets sold to make it break even. And she talked about manifestation. I said, well, what's your dominating feeling? What's your dominating thoughts? Well, I'm anxious that I don't fill it. Well, that's what you're going to manifest, because that's the focus. So we need to shift this. What do you want? And this is why we've got to take pen to paper, write down the current circumstances. Okay, that's fine, but what do you actually want? And this is not most people think this is woo, that you just think things and it happens. No, you've got to get emotionally involved in this. Really have faith and belief that's going to happen. So when you talk about manifestation is where you plant the seed, which is belief, and you then expect reality to happen like instantly, but actually it's that patience in the middle, which is the part of the unseen. And that's where the magic work really starts to happen, if you have enough patience and belief and persistence and faith. So that's what we'll talk you through here. So don't worry if you've really not smashed your goal from last night. That's perfectly okay. You just need to decide. So if you're ready to decide, type decide inside the comments. So I'm deciding to go for this, because the real issue is not the effort we put into this, because we might feel that overwhelm, we might feel that grind, that hustle. Most people pursue goals that aren't truly theirs. And that's what we heard last night, that sometimes we're living up to other people's expectations. So take ownership, take responsibility over your goals, because this is what can happen. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to hand over to Nikki to see if she's got anything to say about goals. You talk about wrong goals and real goals, don't you?
Gosh, do you know, we can talk about, yeah, I mean, that really resonates with me, just that realization that when you come into this work, so there's two things, Jamie, when you were speaking, and I'm looking at the chat with Cyan. So first of all, I just want to say hello, and I want to just say thank you for welcoming me back when I missed last night. I have been away celebrating a friend's birthday and got back in the very early hours this morning, but my heart is so full of gratitude and so full for this work, because simply what we've just been talking about, which is those C-type goals, where you get to realize that life, it really is there for the taking, and it's meant to be for living. And for a long time, so I'm not going to tell you loads of my story, but I'm just by means of an introduction. I am a mum. I'm a mum to 4 beautiful children. My youngest is 14, my eldest is 20. I am a wife to my husband, Johnny, and I'm a business partner to Jamie. But I'm also a person who has experienced a huge transformation, a huge change in my life because of this material that we're sharing with you. And it really does start with a decision to be open. Now, I love that you started with the woo, and I love that we're talking manifestation already, and we're only, 10 minutes into day 2, because we're always manifesting. We're always creating the life based on the thinking and the feeling that we have within us. And for a long time, I lived in worry, I lived in fear, I lived in self-doubt. And I lived in that place because I didn't know any different. I moved from being a young person in my 20s who travelled the world in my hotel career, and I came home and I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I got the proper job story, and I'm going to tell you that story, that this came from a conversation with somebody I adore, somebody that loves me dearly, somebody that I love dearly, you know, a huge important person in my life. But when I first came back from London, and this person said to me, well, you can get a proper job now. And in that moment, my 10 years international hotel career of traveling the world and growing and expanding became something that I discounted immediately for a proper job. And I ended up going to work in the NHS for nearly 22 years because I took that on. I took that person's story as my own. But in those, particularly when I became a mum, now the job served me so much. It gave me maternity leave to have 4 children. It gave me part-time working. It gave me career growth. It gave me promotion. It gave me lots of amazing things. But I was also deeply, deeply unhappy because I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live. I wasn't living the life that I thought I would be living. But I just kept doing it, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. So it was quite a weird time for me. You know, my life became very planned. Basically, every day was the same. Actually, let's just call it what it was. You know, I would get up, I would get to eat the kids, I would get myself out to work. Everything would annoy me. You know, the trying to get out the door, the kids would be do something and I would feel like I was always running late. When I came home, it was all about getting the tea, it was all about getting the hoovering done, it was all about getting the washing done. And then like that was it. And I lived like that for probably the first 10 years of my kid's life. I waited for something to make me feel good. And sometimes in my day, it would be the coffee break or the bar of chocolate or the glass of wine became quite a regular thing in my life. Because I didn't realise back then, and let's get woo and let's get all, happiness starts from within. And although I heard those words, I didn't really know what they meant. So I was always looking for something outside of me to feel good. And life became struggle, because that's what happens when you're living always in your external circumstances. When you're always looking for something outside of you to satisfy something that's inside of you, then it doesn't work. It's not possible. So I lived my life in a really low energy, really drained, really knackered. And I blamed everybody, that person that drove the car in front of me, or that person that took my parking space. Oh God, I had a few rants in my car at people like that. The people in my job that were, however I would like to describe them, everything was a struggle. Everything was exhausting, and everything was draining. And I brought that home, because when you live like that in one part of your life, you live like that in all parts of your life. And so I wasn't the mum I wanted to be. I was always knackered. I was really in competition with my husband about how tired I was. And it was a competition that I was absolutely set on winning. And maybe you can relate to some of this stuff. Maybe you find life is a struggle, or maybe you find yourself thinking you wish things were a bit different. But maybe you have more of a desire to think and to feel happier within yourself. That's a good Dundee phrase, isn't it? But it is, everything is within. But no matter where you are in life, and where I found I got myself to be was, I didn't want to wait for everything outside of me to feel good. Wouldn't it just be nice to feel great just for no reason, just because you're here, just because you have a family, just because you're happy within yourself, within your career, within your life? And wouldn't it just be lovely to just simply be in this world? And so that's where this journey brought me. That's where this material brought me. So many people, and I'm sure you discussed this last night, is one of the things that we start with on day one, is most people are in a prison that they don't know that they're in. And, we fill our lives with fear, with sadness, with worry, with disgust, with despair, with anxiety, with worry, with stress, with anger, with stupidity. And I imprisoned myself in many of these chains for a long time. And I don't do that anymore. I really, truly feel free from these emotions that once held me captive. And it's not that I don't have problems. I have problems, but my freedom is a sense that I have control over my own life and my own destiny and my day-to-day and my life and my work. And this is what I get to do now for a living. And I don't know what the future has in store, but I know that I can deal with anything. And I know that I have everything within me to make every moment of my life wonderful. So thank you for letting me share that. But as we enter these next few days, and I know that I've missed yesterday, and I'll catch up with the replay, and I'm really excited to meet some of you, because we will bring another opportunity to get together again in Zoom, likely Friday. But we want to spend these next few days with you, telling you our stories and sharing some of our conversations with each other, sharing our conversations with our mentors, sharing our journey. Because what we've learned is this is a journey. This is not you're here for a week or a fortnight. This is a practice. This is a way of life. But when you decide that you want this way of life, then you realise how possible it is to be free from the prison that you've currently put yourself in. And we will bring you through this journey with our stories and experiences. We will help you to gain more perspectives, more useful perspectives, and different ways of seeing your world. And our hope with sharing some of these with you is that you get to gain a different understanding of some of the things that you've experienced, and you get to realise that life is full of C-type goals. And it really is. You just get to choose, you get to decide, I want to live my life like that. I want to experience the world differently. And our hope by the end of this week is that you realise and you can feel an incredible sense of liberation. because we know once you see this and once you feel this, once you decide this is what you want, you will never look back. So I'm really glad to be here. And my intention for this week is to work with Jamie to ensure that you realise how possible it is for you too to get to your future, your goals, your C-type goals more quickly, more easily, better, more effectively, through fun, through conversations like this, through being open-minded, through being brave enough to think, well, what is this stuff that they're talking about? And I really want to acknowledge that entrance, Jamie, that you said is, this is woo. It is woo. This is connecting with life. This is realizing that life is for living. And most people will never put themselves in rooms like this. You are a product of your environment. And the life that you've got right now is because the environment that you've been living in for so long, and there's so much of it is wonderful. But when you think, well, I want more life, I want more joy, I want more happiness, and I don't want it in a bar of chocolate, although, that's good too, but I want it just in being, then this is why you found yourself here. So trust that. And thank you for trusting in us. We are very excited to have you here and very excited to work through our night 2, day 2 information and stories with you. And we've got some great things that we're going to share with you that by the end, we know you're going to have experienced. The realization that life does get to be different and it's available for you as much as it's available for anyone.
So good.
Yeah.
So please do feel free to share in the chat anything that resonated there from what Nikki was saying. Do engage. Does it make sense? How does it make you feel? Because listen, we're all in this together. Myself and Nikki, yes, we've achieved goals, but listen, we are still a work in progress. We're still moving towards new C-type goals. We're working towards new bits of life, and we're proof that we've overcame hurdles and barriers to help you make it happen. So what we're really making you understand here that when you have a true goal, it creates that energy within you. It creates that aliveness within you. And the one word that Nikki used there was desire. You need to really have desire really connected to the goal, because desire and emotional connection, when they're linked to goals, do something absolutely magical. And the woo responds to that. The universe responds to that. Now, we've referred to a number of books last night, Napoleon Hill being one of those books. And we started off with a video clip last night, which is the starting point. And the starting point for all achievement is desire. And Napoleon Hill wrote a whole chapter on desire. But once we've got that desire, then we need to really start to nurture the goals. Goals need nurturing every single day, multiple times a day, because our attention is being grabbed from so many things around us on a daily basis. So the attention must stay on the vision daily, or we get pulled in all sorts of different directions. But sometimes it's a reminder as well. Sometimes when we go up and go, that was a struggle. But when we're clear on where we're going with that, then it makes it worthwhile. And last night, and today in particular, yesterday, apologies, we might refer to this being tonight and last night being last night, because for the past 5 months, we've been having all our calls at 7 p.m. But now we're at 1 p.m., we're getting used to actually this being in the afternoon. So that's why we keep on saying that. But the point being here is that if the outside world is constantly distracting you, then your imagination, and this is, Sian, going back to you, what you're saying about your goal doesn't feel ambitious enough, we need to be intentional with our imagination. And when our imagination becomes intentional, holding the picture of the emotion is absolutely key for moving it forward. And it's having tools to do that. Nick, I don't know if you want to do a little activation, because I think sometimes we do an activation.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know what? I will do that. I was just thinking exactly the same thing. So yeah, great minds on that.
So, and the reason we do little exercises like activations, or we call it visioneering or visualization or imagineering, you need to take part of the day. And it doesn't need to be hours. It could be 30 seconds or 2 minutes where you just pause and go, look at your goal, look at your goal card, remind yourself of that emotion you've got attached to that future life of what you want to do. what you want to get, what you want to have, how you want to be. And when you emotionally get involved in that regularly, we start to reprogram what we're talking about today as our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is in complete control. 97% of what we do comes from the subconscious. So to reprogram this, we need to put new coordinates in it. We talked about the GPS system last night from Psycho-Cybernetics. We need to put new coordinates in. We need to put new information in repeatedly over and over and over again. And as we said last night, repetition is the first law of learning. So we may as well repeat it with something wonderful, something magical, something just that elates all the emotions inside of you. And that's what we do. When do you want to do the activation? Now or later?
No, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Because what I'm really conscious of when you were speaking there is even just the fact that the business that we've created, that flexibility, that was a C-type goal. It was a C-type goal for me and for you, but I'm also going to speak just about me, but yes, it's about me. But my C-type goal was about having a business that was flexible, and the fact that we've even decided to do this during the day is a creation of a flexible business, because family comes first for me. I'm here as a mum to create the business that allows me to have more time with my family and to be around. And, this is just a busy season for our family with exams and my husband's job and things. So just even in that, it's just, you get to choose. Nothing is restricted. Nothing is, when you feel something is restricted, it brings a different energy. So I'm always so grateful for this journey with Jamie. We've been on this journey together. And this is our second year now, but just to know that there is that other person that gets that, that actually family comes first, and sometimes we'll do it at night and sometimes we'll do it during the day. And also we have clients that don't want to come at night and that want to come during the day, and maybe they'll come to the Zoom stuff if we do that at night instead of during the day. So everyone is different, and not having that restriction has really opened up my life to a very different way of living and being. And so this is the perfect time for the activation, because I know that there's something in this for you, in that where in your life do you just feel restricted? Where in your life when you think about how you want to live, whether it's your career or you're looking for a promotion or you want to grow a business, you get to do it in a way that just aligns with who you are as a human, with your important people, with your important things, and it gets to be that expansive. And so this is, for me, I call this the perfect average day. The perfect average day, the perfect average week. What does it look like? So I'm going to bring you into a mini activation. And what this means for you is an opportunity. Now, we obviously can't see you. When we do this with our clients, I'll always invite our clients to close their eyes down. But for yourself, or switch your cameras off. But yeah, you're here with me. I can't see you, but you can see me. But my invitation would be, get yourself comfortable and just be prepared to just to relax and to close your eyes and to just trust that what's about to come up for you is exactly what's meant to come up for you. And really enjoy this. This is one of my favorite things to do with another coach or to do with you and to do with our clients. So I invite you to just take a moment, close your eyes down and start to really notice your breathing. And take some big deep breaths in, slow deep breaths out. And let them get stronger, let them get deeper, let them go further into the body. What we're going to do is, through this breathing exercise, is we're going to give your thinking mind a break. You can't create the life you want to live from your thinking mind. You create it from your emotional mind. And when we are tapping into the emotional mind, the subconscious, we get to do it by closing down, settling down the thinking mind, the noisy mind. Now it's going to keep coming back. It's going to keep trying to get your attention. And that's okay. That's what it does. Just go with it and bring yourself back to your emotional mind with your breathing. So as Your breath gets deeper and slower. Feel your body soften. And trust where your mind takes you is exactly where you're meant to go. And another big breath in. And another long, slow exhale. And simply imagine 6 months from now. And because you have already decided, see your life exactly as it is this day. What is this perfect average day? Where are you? What do you see? What do you hear? Who is with you? Notice how grateful you are for the decisions you made 6 months ago when you were at the challenge with Nikki and Jamie. Notice who you have become. The person who makes decisions. I want you to notice how this feels in your body and where you feel it specifically. And place a hand there. And keep this anchored as you start to move through this day, this perfect average day. Notice the freedom. Notice the space you have created. Notice what you have created for your life, your goals, your family, your business, your career, your health, your relationships. Notice the decisions that you're making about how you want to spend your life, the people you want to be surrounded by. And I want you to bring yourself back slowly 3 months from now. And notice how it feels. August, summer, the plans you're making for the future, the decisions you've made that got you here. Notice who you are with, what you see, how you feel, what you hear. Leading the life you created decisions made from the challenge you attended 3 months ago, and how grateful you are that you did that. You made space for that. You knew it would be important. And you're so happy you followed your own instincts. And come back with a big breath to 1 month from now, June, summer starting. What decisions have you made here because of the challenge that you attended a month ago with Nikki and Jamie? You feel the difference already, the shifts, possibility. You can see the evidence around you of what happens when you decide to believe in you, your dreams, your goals, your potential. And come back. To Sunday, the end of the challenge. How different life feels already. Possibility that your future is written now. You know where you're going. You know what it takes to get there. You know how important environment is. People are. Choosing wisely who you spend your time with. And take a big deep breath in. And bring yourself back to now, to sitting here, to the dreams, to the seeds that you've just planted, knowing that your future, the one that you want, is available, is waiting. And with a final deep breath in, bring your attention back into this room. And I'd love you to share something in the chat. And if you're watching this on replay, pop something in the Facebook group. But it doesn't, we don't know what our future holds. We don't know how many years we have to live. We don't know anything, but what we do get to decide is we get to choose how we want to spend our life. If you continue as you are, you will continue as you are. But if you want something different, it really is choice. So I'd love to hear your experience. But I do know that there's more to life available to us than simply repeating the same day in and out for years and years and calling it living, and then waiting for retirement to travel, or for retirement for more space, or for retirement to spend more time with our loved ones. It took me to 52, maybe 51, maybe it was last year, to realise that this was not a life I wanted to buy into anymore. That I wanted my life to be bigger and better and full of fun and laughter and growth and expansion and possibility. And what I know with this material, with Bob, with Sandy, with Errol, with the lineage of this material and how far back it goes all the way back to the Bible if you want to follow it and trace it back. But there is a spirit inside all of us, and it is the spirit of life, of living. We are designed for growth and expansion. We are designed to living. And we get to experience living every day. We get to experience as much of life as we want to every day. But it's our responsibility to make that happen. It's our responsibility to follow that intuition, to trust that what comes up for us comes up for us, to believe that that good life is available to us, to push the boundaries of our thinking about possibility, to create the desire, to nurture the desire, to do the work that nurtures the desire. And most people will sign up to something like this. I think, Jamie, I can't remember how many you said we had signed up, about 70. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that'll be great. But then they talk themselves out of it before they even get to the calls. And then some people will come to the calls and they'll get something out of it, but they'll say, oh, I'm too busy for tomorrow nights. Very few of you will stay with us to the end. Very few. But those are the ones that we're grateful for, because you are the ones, the 2%ers, the people that will say, no, I'm going to give this a go. What if what they say is true? What if this is a life that's available for me? And what if I just listen to them and follow them and do what they say? Because that's how we started. It's exactly how we started, being in rooms like this and thinking, really? Is that what we get to do? We get to create our life? Yes, you get to create your life. You're the only person that knows what the life you want looks like and feels like. That little exercise we did just gave you a little tiny introduction into what your future could look like and feel like. And we are our biggest problem and we are our biggest solution. We get to choose which one that runs your life. Your inner mind will fight you all the way, telling you, it's not for you. You can't do it. Yes, you can. When I first decided that I wanted to be a businesswoman and have my own business, I had no idea that was a dream that I had. I had no idea it was something that was within me. And as soon as I said it out loud, I followed it with an but that's not for me. And I said that so quickly, I didn't even notice that I'd said it. I didn't even know that I wanted my own business. I didn't know that I wanted this life of being my own boss. I'd been employed since I was 16. I'd been employed for decades. I had no idea what having a business would look like. And so when I said it out loud with my coach, I worked with my coach for 4 years. And she said, let's pause, Nikki. Let's look at what you just said. And I didn't even know I'd said it, because I'd shut it down. As quick as I'd said it, I'd said, but. So this is what happens. We all have an instinct. We all have something that will come up, but the thinking mind, the loud mind, it'll shut it down. And when you come into space like this, and we say to you, do the workbook, do the writing, we tell you that for a reason, because when you do the writing, that's the pathway to the subconscious. And it's a practice, because if you've never done it before, your thinking mind, your loud mind, it's going to stop you every single step of the way. So you practice. And then you'll write and you'll write and you'll write, and some of it will just be waffle and drivel, but every so often something will just sneak out. You think, wow, I didn't know that was in me. Or you'll share in the chat, you'll share on the Facebook group. But if it wasn't for that conversation and being in rooms like this, I wouldn't be here now. I would still be doing the same thing. I'd probably be divorced. I'd probably have ripped my whole life apart. I'd be miserable. I was so unhappy. But I wanted to be one of these 2%ers. I wanted to be the 2 to 3, 4% of people that get their goals. And so my question to you that's in here, I'm going to look at some of the notes in a second once Jamie comes in, but if you want to be in the 3%, all you need to do is decide. And so I want you to write in the chat now, I want to be in the 3%. Or I am. Make a decision. I am in the 3%. Even if you don't know what the goal is yet, you get to that point, that unfolds, it comes. It doesn't ever not come. You just have to decide that you're available for it. And then you decide that you're up for the fight, because you are going to have to fight for it. These things don't just come. That's why there's only 2 to 3%. Not everybody really stays in the whole way. and you get to take responsibility. That word responsibility is my favourite word in the world. Responsibility. You have the ability to respond to life in a way that's aligned with who you are and who you want to be. You are the one that's in charge of your thinking, of your feeling. And if you take responsibility for everything that's happened in your life right up until this day, and everything that's going to happen as you move beyond, the ability to change, then what? What would you change? Because you can. Everything is within you. So tonight we are here to give you back your power, to let you know all you need to do is decide, take responsibility, let go of being the victim, let go of blaming everything outside of you, others, circumstances, lives, partners, parents, managers, bosses, and decide what else is going to come and fill its place. One of my favourite Bob quotes, nature abhors a vacuum. When you let go of blame and you let come responsibility, that's empowerment. So if you're up for taking responsibility for your life and for creating the life, decide now. You're going to be one of the 3%. And let's enjoy.
Love it. So hopefully this is starting to really have an impact on your thinking. And no, I'm sitting here listening to Nikki, just like you. No, I am part of this challenge as well. I'm part of this event because every time we come back to reevaluate this, we are at a different stage in life. We're at a different point in life. Different experiences are happening. Different decisions are being made. And that's why, last night, going back to Nikki's point about people choosing to show up, people choosing to do the homework, people choosing to compare and think, is it perfect enough or not? One person put their homework into the Facebook group last night, and I want to congratulate, it was Cyril who put it in, and they're amazing. Just been really clear on what she wanted, the life that she wanted, the kind of a bit of detail around the vision. But what bit of feedback I did give back to her was, as Nikki just said there, is, well, that's all fine, but what are you willing to give to get that life in return? Because in that first video that Bob put on there, and he was mentioning, he says, you've got to be able and willing. So just now we're talking about, are we able to create this life? Come up with the imagination, come up with the goals, come up with the vision. We think, well, if somebody else has done it, then maybe I am able to do this. But when Nikki talks about the fight, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to fight the paradigm to move ahead? Are you willing to change the paradigm? Are you willing to change the narrative? Are you willing to change the story? Are you willing to take the steps forward? And Sian, I love how honest you're being as well, in terms of going through that exercise with Nikki there. Because it will get you to really reflect. It is very interesting and useful when we do this again and again and again. The story we tell ourselves, and we talked about this last night in great detail on the Zoom call, the fears that we have about something that's going to happen, they are all lies because they haven't happened yet. And it's exactly the same when you're confident, actually, this is absolutely certain to happen. That faith we have in something is also a lie because it hasn't happened yet, but it's set up with beliefs. And we're going to talk about faith and fear tomorrow night, which we cannot wait. But point being is, I can sit and listen to this material all day, every day, because it has had that much of an impact, just like what Nikki's saying as well. So, Sarah, I want to congratulate you. Well done. And I'm going to actually, I don't know if you're on the call or not, but I'm going to send you a copy. I've mentioned it a lot, Psycho-Cybernetics. I'm going to send you a copy of that because we've made reference to that a lot. And we're going to be spending a bit of time this week as we go through this, about really taking, you're there, hello. Yes, rationalize equals rational lies. Love that. Absolutely love that. So, because of the homework last night, a copy of Psycho-Cybernetics is going to be on your way. So use the email address in the portal, and there's an email address to get back to us, and send us your address, and we'll send that in the post. And well done. Well done, well done, well done. And also, your goal card, everybody, if you've done your homework last night, find a way of having a goal. Actually, I'm going to get Janelle to help with this. I'm going to send a draft format of goal cards you can cut out and put your goals on, and then you can laminate them or sellotape them, but carry them about with you every single day, because the more you spend time with your goal and you carry it everywhere and you repeat it to yourself, now you start to recondition your mind. Because if you don't flood your mind with what you want, guess what? The world floods it for you with whatever's going on around that. So, sir, I want to say well done. Congratulations for doing that. It was really, really clear. Really, really proud of doing that. And you should be proud of yourself for being brave as well. Because when we have a goal, we then become more precise about the action we take. We start to be and creating mental discipline of that focus we have. And focus is your superpower. Now, I've got something in here that, and by the way, last night as well, I was talking about we're not being disingenuous or patronising. If you're thinking, I'm really stuck in a rut here, and how on earth am I meant to get moving? And we're not saying that by doing this, everything's going to change overnight. There's a bit of work to do around this. But there's something I keep on my table, on my little desk here, that Bob, we got a gift when we go travelling the world with our coaching company. We get lots of gifts. And Nikki talked about responsibility, the ability to respond and basically take control. And this little desk thing keeps me focused each day when maybe particular things on the outside start to happen. And the first part here says, it is what it is, accept it. It will either control you or you will control it. And then says, the second part, it says, harvest the good. It says, there's good in everything, seek and you will find. You find what you focus on. And then the last part, which might at times be particularly challenging, is forgive the rest. Forgive means to let go of completely, abandon, release it. So you've got to let go completely of whatever it is that's holding you back. And these could be opinions about other people, events that have happened. And again, I'm not making judgment on events that have happened in anybody's life. But can you release what no longer serves you? And that might take a bit of work. But the key thing here is that nobody controls your thinking anymore. You no longer need to be the victim. You no longer need to think that the worst is going to happen. Because we're giving you the information, the tools this week to take it forward. And what I love as well, when we talk about this, it reminds me when we were, Nikki, when we were in Arizona last year, when Sandy put that first quote up. The quote that went up that talked about walking away from the thing that no longer serves you.
Yeah. That's, I think I love that quote. And I've seen that quote probably changed my life in that moment. So it's a quote that she had up, and it said, love yourself enough to walk away from that which no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. And for a long time, I really did, I just kind of accepted being unhappy. I really accepted being unhappy, and I normalized it. And so that quote, in that instant, I realized that I was going to leave my job. My 22-year career, well, my 28-year career, my 22 years in this one organisation. And I remember sending my husband a text, and I tried to make it really dramatic so that he would be okay. And I was like, we need to talk, one of these like dramatic texts. But I'd followed that up with I really need to leave my job now. And we didn't speak about it for a month, which is quite funny when I got back from Arizona. I think he just pretended that it wasn't happening. But one of the things that Bob talks about is, I can't remember when I first heard him say this. It was a while ago, but I love it, and it really just landed for me, that we breathe. Every idea is stillborn, and we get to breathe life into our ideas, into the ones that we want, really. And so the idea of leaving my job was stillborn in that moment, but I breathed life into it. I visualized it every single day. I imagined what it would feel like to go about my day to day as the person that was no longer going to work. And that was my visualization. I have a really lovely set of stairs in my house. And in those the stair line, when I first moved into here, we lived next door. And when the house was empty, my eldest son, Dylan, and I, we used to run down the stairs. Our stairwell's really huge. We live in an old hospital building, and it's a really old building. So the stairwell's massive. And we used to run up and down it. And Dylan would say, like, it was the favourite part of the house. And it was the favourite part of mine too. So that became my visualization, that every time I came down those stairs, I came down no longer going to work, but working for myself. And it felt weird at first, and it didn't feel real, because we practice. Yeah, the mind likes familiarity. So when you practice something, this is what we call breathing life into it, eventually it feels like it's possible. And so one day I realised that I was going to leave my job. I'd practiced coming down the stairs many times in the day as the person that was no longer working, but the person that was a business owner, fully, not managing both of them. And so that energy just became familiar in me. It became excited, and it became possible because I breathed life into it. And so this was what I did. And eventually my husband had asked me for certain conditions before I left. He wanted a certain amount of money in the bank, or a certain amount of savings. And I just realised, this is never going to work for me. I'm never going to, it's that leap of faith, isn't it? We don't wait until the conditions are perfect. We create the conditions. And so in that moment, one day I realised my work is draining me, and I will never be able to bring in the money to make that balance as long as I'm still doing something that drains the life out of me. And I knew by then that it was possible, that I needed to create space in my day-to-day to be that business owner in full and live my life from that energy. And so I handed in my notice. Before I was ready, before the conditions were in place that other people had expected of me. And I chose to believe in me and to take that leap of faith that this was all going to work. It was all possible. And so that's how I changed my life. And here we are.
Here we are. And it's
So
that shift.
I'm going to go. Sorry, you go.
On you go. I'm just saying that shift from being around those environments that do hold us back,
Yeah.
and they're not serving us anymore. And you basically become in harmony with the results that are around you, and you're kind of going, wait a second here, this is not happening anymore. And no doubt everybody you're listening here, you can see where you've also done this before, that you're actually being influenced by what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good. Sorry.
So I wanted to move on to the questions, because I'm just looking at my clock and thinking, okay, we've probably did we contract for Tuesday being a little bit longer?
I said that last night. Today's going to be a little bit longer due to what we're covering. So
that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
So yeah, feel free to share anything in the chat, but I want to go through the questions in the workbook with you, because this is really what this is all about. And for me, this is about just making sure that you're still in the right place. But some questions that help you to realise where you are in your thinking mind, because we can't move forward until we know where we're at. And so these questions will just help you to notice where you're at. Now, some of them are going to be now, some of them are maybe been in the past, some of them you've maybe resolved for yourselves already. But if we don't know where we are, we don't know where we're going. So if you're in the right place, we want you to be comfortable with being here, to commit to being here for the rest of the week. And so if you see yourself in some of these, then yes, you're in the right place. So comparing yourself to others, I lived in comparison. A lot of my identity when I started this journey was because I could only see things that other people had that I didn't have for myself. And so, a big part of this work is just noticing that. So I was deeply, deeply guilty of that. I was always feeling like I was an outsider. I always wanted to be part of something that I wasn't part of. And so I compared myself to others a lot. And in that next one of self-belief, do you believe in yourself? Well, whether you maybe you do just now, maybe you don't, and that's okay. Wherever you are is perfect. But belief gets to be grown, it gets to be cultivated. And actually, it's a really easy thing to do. We work a lot with nurturing your self-belief. I used to be deeply afraid of rejection from others. I have a huge people please driver. And that was the message that I took when I was a child, that when you pleased others, that was good. And I always wanted to fit in. So to fit in was about pleasing other people when I was growing up. And of course, that's just what I brought into adulthood as well. I have trouble concentrating. Yeah, I used to, I had so much going on in my mind that I never knew, what I would be starting on or what I would not finish. But now I know that when I get an idea, I breathe life in it, I'm focused and I see it through. This work has completely changed my life for that. Oh my goodness, selling. I'm afraid to sell. When I first came into being an entrepreneur, selling me absolutely crippled me with anxiety because I'd only ever been employed, I'd only ever received a salary. I had no idea that my financial ceiling could be completely smashed. But I needed to be comfortable with selling me, and this was how I got deeply into NLP. I became a client of an NLP coach because of my money, my scarcity around money, and it completely rewired my beliefs around money. The first time that I then sold my group coaching program, after just days after working with an NLP client for a few weeks, an NLP coach for a few weeks, I sold my $3,000 coaching program to 4 people in 1 month. So I went from being really afraid to sell to absolutely owning the transformation that we create, that we give people, that we change lives, to it being really natural to just offer, well, here's what we do. And if you want to join us, you're welcome. And if you don't, that's okay too. So amazing. I don't feel like a great leader. Yeah, I didn't really ever really feel like a leader, but now I know that leadership, again, is an inner world practice. I lead myself every single day. I create and lead the life that I want to lead every single day. And we have people in our community that are leaders. We have managers, leaders, executives, and we have people that are owning their own business, that create art, that create music. That everything is self-leadership. So no matter where you are within that, then you're in the right place. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Yeah, I used to not do things in case it was a mistake. And when I invested into my first coaching program to learn how to be a coach, to come and do work like this that now we teach, that was what was frightening. Am I going to spend this amount of money? Am I going to invest in me, these thousands and thousands of pounds in me? What if it's a mistake? But what if it's not? And I choose to believe now that every single thing that I do, there's always learning. My whole past, I have rewired my thinking around it, that it's all to resource me, that it's brought me here, and that I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't made the mistakes and got the learning from it. Life is about, this is how we make mistakes. When you're young and you're born and you fall, you don't just never try and walk again because it didn't work the first time. You keep learning, you get stronger. This to me is what life is. Putting everything off until later, yeah, well, I'll maybe do that when the kids are older, or I'll maybe invest in me when the business is bringing in the money. No, I don't put anything off now. If it feels aligned, I trust my gut. If I want something, I go for it. I know that now that I know the power of this work, you make a decision and the things that need to fall into place, but they'll only fall into place once you've made the decision. We get this all the time with clients that come and work with us. They want to come and work, and some of them will, oh, well, can't do it if not got the money. It's not how it works. You decide, and everything falls into place. When Bob Proctor just talks about this, so he talks about this with a house. I remember one of the first times I heard him talk, and he was talking about the house, and I think it was Sandy actually. He's talked about it a few times, but the one that's coming to mind was she wanted to buy this house, but it was the money, and I don't have the money. And he said, "Come on, Sandy, we teach this stuff. This is not how it works. You decide first, and then it all falls into place." And he made her, he didn't make her, but he did say to her, "I want you to write to all your family and to send them the new address and tell them that they're coming to have Christmas with you." And so she did it before she even bought the house. You decide first, and then you take aligned action with the decision. And then, of course, she had Christmas in this house with her family. The how is not how you make your decisions. The how, it just appears once the decision has been made. So trust your decisions, trust your instincts. Big part of this work is taking you out your thinking mind. That will always talk you out of the things because it wants to keep you safe, and it brings you into, it just feels right. It just feels aligned, and I'm going to do it. That's how I make my decisions, through that, not through that. And then I have a problem with procrastination. Yeah, of course you do. Procrastination is your mind's way of talking you out of the things. But when you know that you're living in alignment with who you want to be, the life that you want to have, procrastination doesn't get a look in. So you just keep going. And worried about the opinions of others. Yeah, it's natural. It's a fundamental human need to fit in. But actually, when you choose to belong to yourself, when you choose to trust your own inner decision making and living the life that's growing yourself and your business, because you know what's going on in your own mind, because you've created space from a thinking mind and moved that process into how it feels in the body, then you know that other people are going to talk. We talk about this. Jamie will maybe share, I don't know if he has already, when we first came into this work, that it's like being part of a cult. People will say that it's part of a cult, the work that we do, particularly for me, the NLP stuff. People will say that it's cultish, but people dismiss things that they don't understand, and I get that. So these things just bounce off me now. I don't need to prove myself to anyone the way that I used to really felt that I always had to get approval. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate yourself. Do you believe in yourselves? Are other people's opinions about you important to you? Are you a confident person? Do you respect yourself? Do you appreciate your achievements? Do you give your all every day? There's a great quote by Jim Rohn, and he said, "If you were going where I was going, if you loved your life the way that I love my life, you would be getting out your bed every day at 5 a.m. as well." Jamie and I both 5 a.m. risers, because we know that the work that you do at that time of the day is the work that changes your life. And so you will believe in yourself, because that's what you do in those moments. You cultivate that self-belief. You breathe life into self-belief. You make the decisions. You sit with your goals. You breathe life into them. You nourish them. You nourish yourself with your thinking. And then you set yourself up for a day that by the time 9 o'clock comes, or by the time 8 o'clock comes and people are maybe just rising or starting their day, you've achieved more than most people will achieve in a week, just in those hours. You build your confidence. You will learn that respect is cultivated, and this is how you achieve your goals. So I spend some time with these, really just to enjoy them and celebrate taking the time to understand where you're at with some of these. But every day is different, and every day you'll give more of yourself to yourself than other days. But actually, just starting to live your life like this is how the 3% of people get their goals. And Jamie's going to share a little bit more about why 97% of people are doing the same thing, and why only 3% get the goals.
Well done. And listen, this is just a little benchmarking exercise where you are right now, where you need to kind of focus and change. And what I'm going to do in a second as well, because we've got a bit of homework we're going to give you before we end the call today, to give you an understanding of all these things that are holding you back. So hopefully that's giving you a wee benchmark, a wee opportunity to think about where we are. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to draw you a little picture, and your picture is in your homework. We're going to teach you why your paradigm is currently controlling your behaviour. We're going to be looking at why your behaviour is controlling your results, and why most people, including ourselves, are unconsciously programmed in so many different ways. And you're going to get the opportunity for your homework to redraw and study the model we're about to do here, because this is about really understanding why people stay stuck, why motivation fades over time, why, as Shannon said, it doesn't feel ambitious enough, why behaviour repeats over and over again, and also why we've got this self-talk, because it's all part of our identity. And this is all part of the stick person we're about to really focus on here, because the language we use to ourselves shapes us, not just physiologically, but actually mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And our body responds to the thoughts we've got. So whether it's I'm strong or I'm weak or I'm good or I'm bad, it's indifferent. We need to start speaking to ourselves differently. And our identity precedes that behaviour every single day of the week. So I want to just share with you here this little stick person here. This stick person here is in your homework, and your homework for tonight is to either print off this sheet and draw or doodle what we're about to do here, some of the information, and you can be as creative as possible. You can actually just use a blank sheet of paper to do this, or some people in the past couple of months have been really creative using a little bit of AI and adding bits and pieces in, so you can be as creative as you want to be. So I'm going to remove this just now just so you can see me in a little bit more detail. This is the stick person you've got in your book. Now, this is one I did earlier. What we have got here is the mind, which is represented by the big circle, and we've got the body represented by the small circle. And we've got this line going across the middle here. So we've got the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and we've got the body. Now, the 5 antennas coming at the top here are our 5 senses. What we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we taste, and what we smell. I think we've got that. But the point being here is that we take in millions of bits of information every second of the day through these 5 senses. Now, we only are able to focus on a very, very small percentage of them, and the rest of the information goes into our subconscious mind. Now, our subconscious mind is completely deductive. When we were children, that line never existed. Actually, the top semicircle never existed when we were children. It was like an open cup, and your subconscious mind took in everything that was happening around you. The language you speak, the food that you like, your relationship to money, your relationship to success, the type of job that you do, the type of career you moved into, the type of house you live in, the area of the world, all these things, you were getting programmed from family, from friends, from education, from social media, from television, from radio, all your environment. And then when we were about 7 or 8 years of age, the lid was closed and our conscious mind started to form. And we start to think, we start to question. And we've also got these 6 mental faculties that I'm going to go into detail with that gives you an understanding that we've got all these mental muscles that gives us the potential to move ahead into the reality that you want. So I'm going to break down what this stick person is here for today. And you're going to do this for your homework. And if you're brave, put it in the Facebook group, and you may be my chance for winning a little prize and a wee gift tomorrow as well. So we'll start with the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind. So this is when, throughout the course of our life, even including this week, you've gathered all this information, the books, the e-learning, the classroom, the lectures, your experiences, the feedback you've got, everything, all this information has been going in. And it's the thinking mind as well. Now, the beautiful thing, because it's the thinking mind, it's got a couple of options to do with your thoughts. You can accept your thoughts, or you can reject your thoughts. Your conscious mind has got the ability to do that. An idea might come to you, and you might go, I'm not even paying any attention to that, so you can flush it away. Or you might go, oh, I like that. And you might hold on to that and get emotionally involved in this. So the conscious mind really gets you to think. But it also has these 6 mental faculties that I'm just going to describe in a little bit of detail. And you can put this on your homework later on as well, or watch this back on replay, even better. First and foremost, we've got the will. So the will is your ability to concentrate. Now, if you think you've got really poor focus or really poor levels of concentration, sit in your favourite chair, Bob will tell you to do this, and put a dot on the wall or put a candle on or just focus on something and see if you can do that for 5 minutes without checking your phone or putting the television on or quickly moving or jotting. Can you sit and stay focused for up to 5 minutes? And that'll give you an indication of how strong your will is to concentrate. And this is going to be really important when it comes to another mental faculty. We've got perception. The perception is the way you see the world. The way I see the world and the way you see the world is different. And that's okay. But when you change the thing you're looking at, the thing you're looking at changes. Which means if you look at how you set your goals last night, if you want to change your results and you want to change your reality, can you change ever so slightly the goals that you want to put forward? So that's about perception. Reason is another mental faculty. Reason gives us the logic behind things. Our reasoning faculty is faulty because we reason our way out of lots of different things. We make excuses. Why this will not happen? Well, let me see how that first. Give me proof. Show me the step-by-step things. And sometimes that there holds us back from going forward from what we really, really want. And then we've got 2 letter I's. The first one is intuition. You just feel, you pick up senses, you pick up the energy. When you walk into a room, you go, oh, this is tense, or this is nice and warm and nice and relaxing. So your intuition picks up the vibration, picks up the energy, picks up the frequency, and it gives you that gut feeling or good or dread. Go for it or don't go for it. Then we've got the imagination. The imagination is the most miraculous, inconceivably powerful force that the world has ever seen. And that's what Einstein said. And everything you use in your life was first created in the mind. First in the imagination and then in reality. So this is the part of your mind you need to tap into to create the vision of the life that you want. And that's what last night was so important. That's why we gave you the opportunity to do the exercise and we'll give you feedback. And you've still got plenty of time this week to do this, by the way. Continue to fire the homework into the Facebook group. And when you use the will to hold that picture on the screen of your mind and you get emotionally involved in it, this is when interesting things start to happen. The last thing I want to talk about is memory. Memory, we've all got a really good memory, by the way. We remember things from way back that just pop up now and again. It could be a smell of something. It could be the summertime. It could be an event. It could be a noise. But our mind pulls on memories. And when we go to set goals, sometimes our mind goes, well, remember you tried that before and it never worked and you were kind of crap at that. Why would you do it again? So sometimes it's easier, not sometimes, it's easier to pull on the events in our life that have been packed with emotion and usually negative emotion. So what we've got to do is create new memories. If you win or if you have successes, we need to jump on these wins and celebrate them with such enthusiasm and publicly declare this. And most of us don't do that because we're scared in case we're bombing off or we're being arrogant and people say, who do you think you are? We're giving you a safe space this week to really promote and celebrate success. So if you have your imagination with the picture of what you want in your mind, you hold it with the will in the screen of your mind, then what you do is you transfer from the conscious mind, which, by the way, is only responsible for 2 to 4% of the results in your life. This is where the real deal is. It's in the emotional mind. Your subconscious mind is the emotional mind. And in here, the emotion is the language of the universe. It's feeling, it's frequency, and it's vibration. When we talk about feeling, that's just our way of saying I'm consciously aware of the vibrational state I'm in. But we don't say that when we're walking about in public. But when you see feeling sad, angry, guilty, resentful, happy, joy, grateful, these are all different levels of frequency. So your subconscious mind has a frequency. But within your subconscious mind, this is where all your paradigms exist. Paradigms are a multitude of habits that have been embedded in there, as we said before, from birth to the early years of your life. And we also mentioned yesterday, up to the age of 35, it's then locked in. So if you're trying to change paradigms, trying to change behaviours, trying to change beliefs, you've got to get to the root cause of this. Your paradigms could be that self-image. It could be the way you talk to yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you think you are toward particular aspects of life or skills and all these things. So if you want to change results, you've got to change the paradigm. Now, we change the paradigm by two ways. Boom, an emotional impact. Something significant happens and you go, I am changing everything because of what just happened there. Or we do constant spaced repetition. And that there is probably the most favourable way to go about that, because you change your paradigm by picking one paradigm at a time, one habit at a time, or two maximum. That could be getting out of your bed and focusing on the business and doing that for 90 days. So the way you repeat this in your furnace over and over and over and over and over again, your subconscious mind, when you get emotionally involved in this, it starts to change. So you might have some negative thoughts up there. I'm not good enough. I'll never be rich. I'll never be successful. I'll never get that house. I'll never. All these thoughts might go around in here, but you can reject them. So replace them with more empowering thoughts. I will be a success. I am already a success. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis. That's a money affirmation we're going to talk about later in the week. But the more you affirm this to yourself, like your goal, I'm so happy and grateful now that. I'm so happy and grateful now that. You go over and over and over again. Your subconscious mind cannot reject. It does not have the ability to reject. So whatever it accepts, it believes it to be real. So whether it's something that's positive or negative, your subconscious mind sets up your body to either go in fight or flight or faith, let's go for this. And this is why it's powerful to really understand how the mind moves your body into action. Because when your body moves through that vibration, good or bad, happy, sad, then every action creates an opposite and equal reaction that gives you every single result in your life. This is why today's session is called Discovering the Power of the Mind. It's working all the time. Your mindset is a culmination of thoughts, feelings, and actions that give you every single result in your life. So today's session and homework, which I'm going to put back on the stages, this is your homework for tonight or today. Draw this and think about what's currently going on in your conscious mind. What are the thoughts that are repeating over and over again? Then in the subconscious mind, what are your paradigms? Is it paradigms around money? Is it paradigms around success? Is it paradigms towards being healthy or wealthy or happy? Whatever that may be, you can write these down. You can do a summarization of all these different mental faculties that I've just given you there. You can watch this back on replay. You can talk about the 5 senses and the millions of bits of data that come in. You can talk about how your conscious mind is only responsible for 2 to 4% of your results. And your subconscious is responsible for 96 to 98% of your results. This is what's in charge here. So if you're looking at results saying, I need to change, then guess what? You now know where the root cause is. And once you identify your paradigms, you can do something about it. How about that? Does this make sense? So please do comment in here. Any questions? Does it make sense? Do you understand the homework? Because we just absolutely love this.
Well done. Amazing. Well done. Loved it. So before we finish up, enjoy the homework. We look forward to seeing what comes into the Facebook page as you enjoy and start to let all of this resonate. We are we're coming back to you tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're so excited about that. Tomorrow is going to be amazing. Human beings, in NLP terms, one of the main problems that humans have is the problem of hesitation. And unfortunately, many people do hesitate and they don't take the action that could enable them to achieve their goals. And so what we do is we hold back, hold yourselves back in case the action that you're thinking of taking isn't the right action. But whilst you're hesitating, whilst you're sitting back and watching what other people might do, the world simply goes on without you. There is one thing, however, that people rarely hesitate on. And tomorrow we are going to talk all about that. And we're very excited to share that with you. But I think that's us for today, isn't it?
It is. Just a reminder, do the workbook exercises. So yes, the homework, which is the stick person, but there's other questions in there as well. You've got the paradigm drawing to do. Do the reflective questions because it really gets you to consider what your strongest paradigms are.
Yeah.
Continue your goal visualization. Put your goal card into the Facebook group as well, along with the stick person diagram. Post it. Be brave. Post it in the Facebook group because we can then have a really specific conversation when we start each of the different afternoons, giving you some specific feedback in the group, but also on the call as well, because you're giving other people permission to do that by being brave. So well done for those of you who've done it already, and well done for those of you who are about to do it. You've been very brave.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Got Cyan
Good,
asked
good,
to
good.
join the Facebook page. So I will just approve that. Now whilst you're there, there you go.
Well, so remember, the whole theme of today is that you are not broken. You're programmed. And programs can be changed. You're the programmer.
Yeah, definitely.
So the Go card is visible to people inside the Facebook group, Cyril. So other people can see it just inside the Facebook group. So well done.
Yeah, enjoy.
Well, that's us for today. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow. Wonderful topic tomorrow. It will be just 60 minutes tomorrow.
My favourite day.
Yes. So we'll finish with putting Bob back in here again for a couple of minutes. For those of you who did not see the video at the start, here's Bob talking about paradigms, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Well done, folks.